It's time for the Newsmaker Show on News Talk AM 1480 WLEA.
I'm Brian O'Neill, live in the studio with us this morning. Hornell Mayor Sean Hogan. Mr. Mayor, thanks for coming in.
Brian, it's always a pleasure to be with you.
The first question on St. James. Governor Andrew Cuomo's involvement in getting the $54.9 million to St. James Hospital in Hornell.
Well, the health department is part of the executive branch of the state government. So even though Commissioner Zucker is the health commissioner, anything that is approved by the health department would have to be approved by the second floor, which would be Governor Cuomo's office and people that advise him. Certainly without his support, I think we would be hard-pressed. There was a tremendous amount of competition for this Essential Healthcare Partners application, which was submitted actually in a year ago, October. It was submitted in October, but it goes far back as, last February and March, applications were being put together and submitted to the state health department for a very comprehensive review. So if you can see, there's tremendous amount of competition, and some hospitals didn't get any funding where others got significant amounts. I think the reason why the St. James application was so strong is because St. James is a critical healthcare provider to many, thousands of people. We serve 11 zip codes, and there's between 100 and 120,000 people that reside in those areas. It's in New York and northern Pennsylvania. So it was critical that we maintain a full-service hospital, and this certainly will allow us to do that. One of the reasons why it's so expensive to operate at St. James is the aging infrastructure and the lack of resources to do a lot of the necessary things that need to be done for energy efficiency and things of that nature. So with this grant of $55 million, they will design and build a state-of-the-art facility with all brand-new equipment, and it will be a thing of beauty, and it will be a wonderful addition to our community. I think it will help in physician recruitment. I think it will help in retaining physicians that we have. I mean, in consultation with the University of Rochester, they really feel that the area it could use about 5 new primary care physicians, and this will certainly help. Is that healthcare is on the upswing here and not on the decline. Last year at this time we were in danger of losing a hospital, and today we're talking about building a new facility that will have up to 15 inpatient beds, full 24/7 surgery. All the diagnostics that you could you could hope for and wish for, and an all brand new facility that would be centrally located. So I think that a lot of credit goes to the administration and the employees at St. James who work so hard in putting together. I'm talking about, days that went on for 17, 18-hour days, and who worked very hard to put this together, and also working hard to keep the operation together. Now, St. James is really doing very well. As far as where we were, our average daily census is up, and we still encourage people to, don't abandon St. James. People worry about the future of healthcare and the need for healthcare, and then they refuse to support it for whatever reason. And so it's important that people support St. James by using its services. That's the lab. and all the other services that are provided. If you need a stress test, go to St. James. If you need an echocardiogram, go to St. James. You know, they provide a great service with very professional and highly regarded physicians and medical professionals. So this essential healthcare provider program, like I say, St. James, there were $70 million awarded to Southern Tier hospitals, and $55 million of that is to St. James, independent St. James. So that's a significant victory for our region. I tip my hat to Governor Cuomo and Commissioner Zucker, and I also give a double tip to the employees and administration of St. James and the board, for being supportive and moving the agenda forward. So it's really a new day for our region for healthcare services. I think it's going to expedite the affiliation with University of Rochester Medical Center. They'll be intricately involved in helping us design and build this facility and help us manage the construction phase of it. And I think it will really result in a full regional partnership. Now, we talk about regional partnerization and regionalization of a healthcare delivery system, but people have to buy into it, and that includes our partner organizations with Noyes and Jones. And I think that will happen because I think over time you're going to see money savings with back office operations, where there'll be a lot of things done in unison and everyone will be on the same platform as far as medical records go and compatible with the University of Rochester. There's just a lot of great things happening, and we got to continue to push it forward. And people, I can't stress more, and this is throughout the region, I can't stress more to you that we have to continually support St. James by using its services. And also, don't forget that, they certainly could use monetary donations if you're so inclined to donate to the foundation. And for the operation of the hospital, for continuing improvement. There's no secret that St. James was basically an institution that Catholic Health East and then Trinity Health did not want. And when the affiliation came from Catholic Health East to Trinity is a Michigan-based healthcare company, and they've closed many, many, many rural hospitals through Michigan and the Midwest. So, and Hornell was just one of those. And one of the biggest mistakes I think ever made locally was affiliating with Catholic Health East, because there was a big metropolitan healthcare system with hospitals in major cities, different dynamic. The rural healthcare environment is much different than, downtown Philadelphia or Pittsburgh. So it's important that we've learned from those mistakes. I think University of Rochester Medical Center has a better handle on rural healthcare because they are a regional facility that serves a wide area, from Auburn to Batavia as far as healthcare, and now into the Southern Tier. So we have a good partner, a viable partner in University of Rochester. They're going to assist us. There are a lot of milestones we have to meet to continue to get this money, and they're all outlined in a letter that was sent to the administration, Jen Sullivan, by Commissioner Zucker. And I'm sure that they're being reviewed now, and the wheels are in motion to get this thing designed, built, and get all the permits and what is ever required to get the thing done. Selecting a location and get this thing built. So the quicker it's built and the quicker it's open and it's serving the healthcare needs of our region, I think we're ready to take off and launch for a new dynamic and a positive dynamic in the delivery of healthcare in our region.
Mr. Mayor, any thoughts on what will happen with the current, or you could say old St. James building over in the Canisteo Street area?
Well, I think that falls upon Trinity Health, who owns the property, working with the city to find a use for those facilities. And if we don't find a use, I think Trinity has an obligation, as Guthrie did in Corning, to remove the structures and make the property available for housing or whatever. But it does the community no good to have existing facilities stand vacant. Now look at the Lincoln School. That stood there vacant for a number of years. We worked in partnership with CHE and Trinity to find a developer with Edgemere, who are now will be developing some senior housing at that location. So those are the type of positive partnerships that we need to perform and enter into. But that's a big campus. And we have to be ever vigilant and diligent and work with Trinity Health, put pressure on them where we have to make sure that the facility is put to productive use or it is removed. Right now, you had Loyola Health there now is providing inpatient services for alcohol and drug addiction. They're using a portion of it. I haven't had any discussion with them to see if they may be interested in expanding services there or not. But I think right now we're vigilant. We're celebrating our successes, and we'll take a big sigh of relief, and then we start working on those issues once the hospital becomes vacant. And we can, work with all the partners together to see what's the best use for that facility. And if we can't find a good use for it, then the only alternative would be to remove it.
What will go into the new North Hornell facility? Everything that's there in the current facility now over on the Canisteo Street?
Everything. Everything that that is currently available will be available, like I say, 24/7 surgery, emergency room, outpatient surgery, lab, radiological services, X-ray, and scans, and of that nature, digital mammography. All those things will be available. All the services that we currently enjoy will be there.
Is there anything, Mayor Hogan, in the old or current facility at the St. James Hospital now? Is there anything you look at and say, gee, I wish, the ambulance could drive in this way or the helipad could land that way? Is there
I think that'll all go into the design. I'm sure that working with our partners from University of Rochester Medical Center, that they'll come up with the most efficient and effective design possible, and take the opportunity to do everything right. And like I say, it's a tremendous undertaking, but with the help and support of University of Rochester, we can pull it off and make sure we have the best facility that can be built for that money.
Any thoughts yet on construction start time and when they'd be finished for the North
No, I don't have any construction. I don't have. I think that it'll be on the fast track, but I wouldn't even venture a guess when it would start. Or there's a lot of regulatory things that have to be reviewed and implemented and applied for. So I wouldn't even venture a guess.
Jen Sullivan noted on Friday that you were sorry that you were you'd been on vacation and that you were sorry that you couldn't be there.
Right.
Did you have a chance when you got back into town to meet with her or talk? Obviously, you've been talking with her on the phone.
Well, no, I've talked with her on the phone. Last Friday morning, I got a call from the governor's office. and they had been trying to reach me, and for some reason my phone was turned off, not intentionally. So it was around 10 minutes to 9, I believe, or a little after 9, when I got the word from the governor's office informing me of the award and asking for a comment for their press release. I certainly gave them the comment, and then the next call I made was to my friend Pete Wall, who's on the board with me, informing him, and I told him to call Jen, and I would call Steve Goldstein, the CEO of Strong and Highland Hospitals, which I did. And then after I made that call, I got a call from Jen Sullivan saying that she'd heard from Tom O'Mara and said that he thinks we're going to get the full grant. And I told her then, I said, Jen, we got the full grant, and it's for $54,900,000. So it was a whirlwind day. I wish I could have been there basically to honor the employees at St. James on Friday. They deserve all the credit. That includes the administration, Jen and Stan Konopko, and all those who work so diligently putting the application together. It's a great undertaking. The employees at St. James are very loyal and very committed, not only to the community, but more importantly to the people of our region, our community, to provide the best health care that can be provided. So, like I say, a double tip of the cap to the employees. All credit goes to them.
And your vacation, that was very understandable. That was obviously planned ahead of time. You didn't take off the day of the news. You came back on the day of the news. You say that Governor Andrew Cuomo was very instrumental in helping St. James. And also you noted that when the good news for Alstom came in, that the governor was very instrumental in that.
Well, absolutely. I mean, one of the good things, I guess, that I have access to the governor, and more importantly, the governor's people that work for him on the second floor, whether it's economic development or health care. I think the governor was instrumental in allowing me to come to the table last a year ago, October of 2014, basically, when the future of St. James was being decided by a lot of people outside our community, and there was no local representation. I wrote a letter to the governor, to the health commissioner, and the next thing I know, I was invited to serve and attend meetings with Noyes and Jones and St. James and University of Rochester. So I was at the table in October of 2014, and then we moved into the New Vision Task Force, and then we started, the town hall proceedings, and I was very vocal about the fact that we needed inpatient care. And of course, I'm not going to relive history here, but Rochester General also late in the game expressed interest and said they would maintain inpatient care at St. James. So then that created a different dynamic. There was negotiations, and the board ultimately decided on University of Rochester. I accepted their decision, and we moved forward from there. I was offered a seat on the board, and I began my new tenure on the board last May 1st. So I'm excited to be part of it. I think everything's working and favorably in our direction, and you have a lot of hard-working people on the board, a lot of dedicated administrators and dedicated employees. So I think the right dynamic has been created, and we're really going to create a thing of beauty as far as healthcare is concerned in our region.
Mayor Hogan, with all the good news coming in for Hornell, Alstom, and now St. James, does that make you want to run again?
That's a ways away yet, but no, I'm not going to run again for elected office. I've made my decision, I've had some personal issues with my wife has had some health issues. Thank God. She's doing very well. And thank you for all the prayers and concern from the people in our community. But I think it's time for me to pass the mantle to whoever it may be. I know that John Buckley has expressed some interest, but there may be others. But it's still 2 years off. I've got a lot to accomplish yet. And but I will not be seeking office as mayor of the city in November of 2017, and I don't plan on reneging on that. At that time, I'll be 66 years of age. I'm not going to leave the community. I'm still going to be here. I'm still going to be fighting for Hornell and maybe a different role. Who knows? But it's been an honor and a privilege to serve the community and the region, and I look forward to finishing my term and starting a new chapter in my life.
Talking with Hornell Mayor Sean Hogan live this morning on the Newsmaker Show with lots of good news locally. We're going to break for Fox News for just a minute. Back in 60 seconds.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders mixing it up in their Flint, Michigan debate last night when Clinton accused Sanders on CNN of turning his back on the auto industry.
If you are talking about the Wall Street bailout, where some of your friends destroyed this economy, excuse me, I'm talking.
They also tangled over trade policies and Wall Street influence, but both agreed the Flint water crisis is a scandal for which people should be fired.
Fox Radio's Jack Callahan. Sanders, meanwhile, winning yesterday's Maine caucuses, the Michigan primaries tomorrow. On the GOP side, Marco Rubio wins the primary in Puerto Rico.
We cannot win if we nominate someone that a third of our party rejects.
Rubio campaigning in Idaho, one of 4 states with nominating contests tomorrow. A plane carrying NASCAR team members headed from Las Vegas to Charlotte made a safe emergency landing early today in Memphis. Nobody was hurt. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Down to 4 minutes here on the Newsmaker Show. Mayor Hogan, wanted to get your take on the presidential race, starting out with, because there's so much going on there, on the Republican side.
Well, I'm a little embarrassed about even talking about it. I'm disappointed that we can't do better in America as far as selection of candidates. I know a lot of people are trumped up for Trump, but he certainly isn't the answer. He's a lot of bombastic hot air. His record is not what it appears to be. He is the equivalent to the 2000s P.T. Barnum. He's a carnival huckster that promotes himself, and it's unfortunate. I've talked about it before. There was a movement in the pre-Civil War and afterwards about a know-nothing party, which was anti-Catholic, anti-Jew, anti-immigrant, and just rekindles that type of thinking of the know-nothing party, where he's anti-immigrant, he's being biased and prejudiced in some of the things he says, and he's playing to the worst in people. Instead of, like President Lincoln always said, we all should be appealing to our better angels, he's appealing to the worst. And people are swallowing it hook, line, and sinker. Not everybody, but a good number of people where he is, controlling the Republican Party at this time, and it's dynamic. I'm not a big fan of Ted Cruz or his, right policies. I think if I had to select someone from the Republican side, it would be John Kasich. A man that has a proven record. He's not, he's more middle of the road type of person. And I think that's what America is really looking for.
That's what Steve Roberts said on ABC the other night, that some of the candidates are going to have trouble appealing to the voters once they get outside the primaries.
But how about if you sat down to watch a debate with your children, whether they were preteen or teenage children, and watch that debate with some of the things, the insults that are thrown
small
back
hands
and forth,
all that nonsense,
small hands, and then referring to his sexual prowess, and it's just disgusting. And I hope people wake up. And, because America deserves better, people deserve better, and there's so much good in this world. Let's accentuate the positive, not the negative, and go with the better angels.
Well, we're down to less than a minute. Did you want to say anything about the Democrat race?
Well, I think it's issue-oriented. You have a clear choice. You've got Hillary Clinton, that is a known entity, has proven herself in New York. And you have Bernie Sanders, who is appealing to a new generation of political activists, and he's got a very left-leaning agenda. I think, both are good people. I think people are going to stick with Hillary, more a moderate, more centrist. And that's what Bill Clinton did. He, with the DLC, the Democratic Leadership Conference, he brought the Democratic Party back to the center.
Out of time, Mayor Sean Hogan, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you.
AM 1480 WLEA Hornell.
From ABC News.